What's up, Patriots? It's October 2nd. This is day 999. Transmission unstable. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, we got low network here today. We'll have to see what we're going to do about that. And for now, we can go right here. It seems to be a little better. Ah, man. Live TV, live TV. This is everything we got to go through. Alright, I got chat. Hey Sylvia, how are you? Hope you're doing well. A lot going on. Always is, huh? Wish we could get back to our normal lives here. Hey Trina, how are you? It was good chatting with you yesterday in Tammy and Nicole's stream. It's cool to see Nicole streaming. That was great. Once she got the tunes thing figured out last night, I think everything went all right. Belinda, Lisa, Armstrong, Jerry, Denari. Hello. Lisa. Oreo and Joe's at the border. All right, we got our live streamers on the ground checking things out for us, giving us the bad news. I mean, and it's bad news. That's for sure. Watermark. All right, Deb, bye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll just put that down here. It's crooked. There we go. Thanks, Deb, bye. I was on Mags last night, calling you out for calling me out. It's all together. We're all gonna get this going on, man. All right, Silly. I was looking for your broadcast from you in Oklahoma, Tulsa. But I didn't see it. So, and you know how that goes, man. You might not have good network or what. There's all kinds of problems that can happen there. Let me get my notes. I think everything's looking okay here. Back to normal. Great time in Tulsa. Hi, June Dalton. Well, I missed a couple vigils here. I haven't done a broadcast since Friday. Saturday, I went to do a broadcast, and I'm telling you, Patriots, I was down, man. This is just getting old. And, some days are better than others. I didn't have anything good to say on Saturday, so I just didn't do a broadcast on Saturday. And then Sunday we had family stuff again. Like I say, it's birthday month here, but that was awesome. That was some good family time, and the grandkids are doing great. That's good to see. I just want to make sure there's a country for them to live in when they get older, you know. And I'm doubting that, you know. On Saturday, I was low, man. What more could be happening around here that would just... I mean, I've never seen anything going like this in our country before, and there's people that just are oblivious to it. I got friends that I've been telling this stuff to for 7 years, 8, 10 years. 10, 12 years ago, I was telling people, don't watch Fox. Just find another source of news. Because Fox they're either lying to you, but they don't lie as much as the other networks. And Fox is guilty by omission. They just don't report on stuff that they should be reporting on. And who knows what's going on in the government. Now we got this goofy budget thing that they do every year. If these guys can't do the job, get out of the way and let somebody else in there that can do the job. Because I'm sick of it. I am really just sick of it, man. So I hung out last night in for Ashley J6 Vigils channel. And got to talk with all you patriots in that channel. Each channel's got a different crew in there, and it was really good hanging out with you folks in that chat last night. I think we had a good thing going on. The stream went down twice yesterday because of copyright problems, and what they did is it just shut the stream down this time. That's only happened to me once back there at the corner. Other times I'll post a video and then it won't post because of a copyright, and you can take care of that later. But last night they just shut it down. So they got AI watching the streams or whatnot, or somebody's calling them and complaining. And who can that be? You know, that's all they got. Oh, well, we can deal with that. So once we got all that sorted out, we got the stream up in action. There was some phone call problems yesterday too, so Matt Da Silva's call didn't come in till later, but he did finally call in once we got everything hammered out there. So there's a link right there to Tammy and Mickey's channel. Nicole was on it last night. Tammy's feeling sick right now. I prayed, Tammy, you're getting better. I think she's back from Texas and got to see her families and down there. So I hope you're feeling all right, Tammy. We're praying for you. We're praying for every one of you, Mickey and Nicole, Helena, everyone. You women are so strong, man, and true to the cause. You haven't wavered since day one. We're over 400 days now on the corner, and God bless our patriots that hold that corner down every night, every single night in a row. Since August 1st of 2022, they've been there. And that has become a mainstay of this fight for freedom, I believe. So I didn't even see a stream on Saturday, but last night I was able to watch for Ashley J6 Vigils channel. And it was great hanging out with y'all in there. Dwight opened up the prayer. Nicole was in the committee meetings, and she had a funny comment, you know, that she was just questioning them about decorum and that. And the guy who's in charge of the rules or whatever in there said, well, yeah, you guys are okay, but you just say the Pledge of Allegiance a little too loud, especially that justice for all one part at the end. So God bless you, patriots, making a stand. Loud and visible. That's what we got to be. Let's see. Then Helena got up and spoke for a little bit. Let's see. We got Jeremy Brown's birthday was yesterday. A little quick review on Jeremy Brown. He's down in Florida right now. He is a veteran, a decorated veteran. He's been locked up for 2 years now. And the FBI came to him before January 6th and tried to recruit him to be a narc in the Oath Keepers. They wanted him to go undercover and then report back to the FBI on what's going on with the Oath Keepers. Like they knew something was, they had this J6 planned. It was a setup, America. And if you don't know that now, get out of the way and let us take care of it, because we're going to take care of this, man. Hey, Sunkiss, good to see you. Good to see you. So the FBI came. I think he had his doorbell camera going while they were standing at the door trying to talk him into being a little tattletale narc. And so he narked on them. He came out and made a public statement that the FBI was trying to recruit him way before J6. And they came after him hard. They came after him hard, to the point where he's still sitting in jail 2 years now. So God bless you. Happy birthday, Jeremy Brown. And I think God is pointing out to us the extreme lameness of our representatives, because like I say, it's day 999 right now that since J6, we have a Republican majority in the House of Representatives right now. That House of Representatives majority could have impeached any of these judges that are just letting all kinds of mayhem happen in their courtrooms. And any congressman could come in and impeach one of these judges. They have all kinds of power in there that they're not wielding. And I don't think that's right. And I don't think if we had real, I'm just baffled. If I was a representative, I would be standing up for the people in my state, okay? If you're from Pennsylvania and there's 40 or 50 Pennsylvanians that got busted on J6, I would absolutely be standing up for it and not care what my constituents care, because your job is to protect this country from enemies, foreign and domestic. You do that by upholding the Constitution, standing up for the rights that God gave us, that we instituted in our Constitution, and they're not doing it. It's going to be 1,000 days tomorrow, and they haven't done a thing, man. So, I don't know. That's why I'm so down on Saturday, last Saturday. It's like, when are we going to get out of this? These guys can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. So, we'll just keep fighting, keep doing what we're doing. I think we're doing pretty good. Hey, Ridgeline. Yeah, the reps aren't monitoring the courts. You're absolutely right, Jerry. I don't know if they don't care or if we're just not giving them the right information in the right way. I had a really good talk with Tom Jeffries of the Northern Neck Patriots group, and they understand about this 3-minute presentation. And they, in their Patriot group, they have a little challenge each month when they meet that they give you a topic to speak on, and you got to make your point in 180 seconds. And I thought that was a great exercise for Patriot groups. Well, first of all, we got to get Patriot groups. Second of all, we got to discuss strategies and funding for all this stuff. And then we got to figure out how to talk to our representatives. So maybe it is that we're just calling the guys up and we sound angry and they semi-respond, or I don't know, man. So I was just kind of rethinking, is this something that we're doing wrong? The reason why our representatives can't understand this, and then we hold them accountable because we think they should just know everything. And, let's not just put all the guilt on everybody else. Let's focus on what we're doing and try to work harder, smarter and harder. And maybe we're just not presenting the information to these guys the right way. And it is something that we could work on. And I like that. The 180-second challenge. It's 3 minutes of time. And you just try to present an idea or facts in a nutshell version, that a guy, if you run into him in the hallway of Congress, you can, in a minute or two or three, you can give him the information that will change his outlook. And that might be something that we can work on right there. Yeah, and Northern Neck is still putting on a weekly vigil there. So I was supposed to talk with Tom about, because he doesn't know much about the YouTube thing, and they were having transmission and network problems down there. So I was giving him some suggestions, and we will continue to have a dialogue. They would like to have a broadcast every weekend of their vigil. Now, they're just going after the Northern Neck Regional Jail still. There's really, I don't think there is one J6er in there. There might be one or two, and there was like 40 in there when we got started a year ago. And they are still monitoring that prison because of all the corruption that they've uncovered it in. They're attending the meetings that this prison has every month for their board, And they got one of the supervisors to step down. Another supervisor or warden is going to step down for retirement here in a month, he said. So God bless the Northern Neck Patriots for standing up and finding the corruption wherever it lies. I also heard later on we're going to talk about Ronald McABEE. So I watched a couple of things that one of our Patriots, Deb for Freedom, sent me. And one of them was Sarah McABEE speaking at an event with Mickey and Nicole. And she was saying how they started this this group that's helping the J6ers families get through this whole thing. We'll get on that later. But anyways. But that this prison corruption is everywhere. There's people sitting in jail for 30 years that shouldn't be there. And the only reason is that nobody has stood up for them. They either don't have family, or they're just, I don't know. But this needs to be attended to. We should have a reformatory prison system that people that go in there should be reformed and not talking about the crimes that they're going to commit the next time they get out. Okay, and then let's see. Jeremy Brown, 2 years locked up, FBI whistleblower. Don't do nothing, okay? All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. So if you're just doing nothing, you're worthless. You're absolutely worthless. I mean, who would want a guy on a team, a baseball team, if you do nothing? This is your country too. We're standing up for it. And I just can't believe how much resistance and flack I get from my own side, from people who think everything's just going to continue as it normally is, because it is not. Guaranteed. Something's going to happen. Something has taken over this country. Donald Trump won that election. Our representatives didn't stand up for it. They're throwing everybody in jail who says he did win that election. They got 2,000 more that they're going to arrest. So things aren't just going to continue, folks. Look what's going on in the cities right now. Crime is rampant. D.C. court is overloaded because they're busting J6ers and letting all the criminals go, man. There's carjackings, murders every day there that just isn't reported on. So people don't think it's happening, but it's there in the court records. It's there in the police records. Nicole got up and spoke and said how much she appreciated this Representative Victoria Spartz from Indiana, who got up and was questioning Merrick Garland, I think, last week. And telling Merrick Garland that the American people are afraid of their government. They are afraid to speak out, which is a First Amendment right to say, speak your mind, talk about problems that you perceive, and that the American people are afraid of our government coming after them because of look at what we just seen. So it's only people paying attention that understand that they are coming after people that don't belong in jail. And then this whole deal with the guy pulling the fire alarm in Congress now, Jamal Bowman. They were voting on this budget. The Democrats were trying to delay. So how better way to delay it than to pull a fire alarm and delay everything? Guaranteed. Have a fire truck show up there and have everybody have to file outside. I don't know what the repercussions of it were. The dude definitely did it because he offered an apology on his Twitface account or whatever. And so guy definitely did it. He used to be a school principal. He mistook the fire alarm handle for a button to open the door. There's no guard at this door. There's guards everywhere in that building at every doorway. Something smells to high heaven about this, and I don't know. So anyways, he interrupted. He obstructed an official proceeding, which is charge 1512 in the books, all right, which is one of the charges that is on every single J6er that has been ramrodded through the court in D.C., man. Every single J6er's got this charge on. And so this guy, Jamal Bowman, a representative in our Congress, pulls a fire alarm and obstructed an official proceeding. And let's see how he gets treated by our justice system. Do we have a two-tier justice system? Well, let's see if he gets ramrodded through the courts and charged for officially obstructing an official proceeding, okay? Guaranteed he's not going to, but what are we going to do about it, all right? Maybe here's one of our opportunities to put our ideas into a nutshell, a pleasant nutshell that our representatives can understand. It takes a little work. You got to write things down, then you got to edit it, you got to condense it, you got to look up words in the dictionary. It isn't easy to put these things down in nutshell versions. So how about that for an exercise homework assignment, okay? Let's put down into like 3 sentences what we want to tell our representatives about Jamal Bowman pulling a fire alarm and obstructing an official proceeding. You might not want to get into every J6er's life story when you tell them this, but you might want to point out that 1,000 or 1,200 J6ers just got charged with that same charge. I don't know if every single one got it. The ones that went in the building definitely got that charge added on there, man. All right, Mags, how do you like that? Homework, man. So I'm going to work on that in my spare time, which I don't have any, but let's try to work on that. Let's see. And Nicole spoke about that same topic, the 1512 charge, obstruction of an official proceeding, and said, everyone was going, well, yeah, put the screws to Jamal Bowman. But, well, maybe we should take the screws off of all the J6ers in reality. Because in reality, what they did was nothing, man. They walked through the building, walked out the next door, and they got charged with it. Jamal Bowman, he pulled the fire alarm. I don't think they evacuated the building. I don't think the fire company showed up. I think they figured out what happened. He did obstruct the meeting, though. There's no doubt about it. What he did was effective. But maybe we should just be reasonable and say, look, all right, he pulled the thing. All right, give him 30 days in jail and take him out of Congress. You can't be a congressman breaking the law just wantonly like that. So we should maybe demand that the charges be dropped from every single J6er that just walked through a building and didn't pull a fire alarm. How about that? Yeah, and the guy Jamal Bowman was a school principal from what I understand. So there's fire drills. How many fire drills does every school have every year? And you telling me he can't tell the difference between a handicapped door opener button on the wall and a fire alarm? Either the guy can't read, he wasn't seeing. He says he was in a hurry to go vote, but they were trying to delay the meeting. So that doesn't add up, Jamal. There we go. All right, so you got it in a link already. Way to go, Patriots. This is what I love about this group. I love it. Okay, then Matt DeSilva finally did get the call in. There was some definite phone glitches happening last night, so I don't know what was going on there. Because some of the other J6ers were having trouble calling their wives and stuff. But finally he did get in. He read something about Dumbledore's army, which is a theory about that there was an insider group in Trump's inner cabinet that, that is working behind the scenes to this day to get our country back. Now, I can't imagine that they didn't try to set something like this up. I never watched Harry Potter. I knew it had satanic origins when it came out. My kids were older than the Harry Potter scene was, so I never really got into the Harry Potter thing. But man, it took over it got a lot of kids to read, I guess, but it's satanic, man. It is satanic. They're casting spells and doing all kinds of weird shit. There's nothing in there about God. So I never partook in it. But apparently there's this dude, Dumbledore. I guess he's the bad guy. I don't know. I didn't quite get it, Matt Da Silva. Maybe you guys did because you know more about the Harry Potter thing. But the whole thing was he had a written piece. And he called it, Dumbledore's Army. That they possibly are still in action, even though Trump isn't sitting in the Oval Office right now. And so I started thinking, well, who might be these inner working, behind-the-scenes guys that Trump got in there and might still be in some type of an operation. And lately, Miley, the cross-dressing general, just retired, and a new guy was installed. And I just saw a couple of things about this guy where he was appointed by Trump. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed about our new head of the military right now. I don't even have his name right here. I forgot to write that down. And then there's General Flynn. He's probably in on something. Flynn, he knows where the bodies are hidden. He was the head of all kinds of intelligence groups. Flynn knows what's going on, and Flynn has never backed down. They came after Flynn first out of Trump's cabinet with a big sham thing, bankrupted him, and so General Flynn is in on it. He is saying, keep building this army, okay? That's us. That's me. That's you. That's everybody that's paying attention to what's going on in J6 and at the border and with the Ukraine and the oil. I mean, all this are attacks on our government, on the people by our government, man. Okay, Voldemort was the bad guy in Harry Potter. Okay, I don't know. But I get what he was saying. There's a good army that's still in place there that could be working behind the scenes. And maybe that is what we're seeing right now. It just really sucks that these J6ers are paying the heavy sacrifice for this. They're still in jail. We've lost, 4 on January 6th, 4 patriots dead, 4 suicides now afterwards. And then the toll on the police, how many suicides have they been through over this whole thing? I mean, they're killing people in the meantime. So it's hard to think, yay, there's an undercover group that's going to get our country back. But for crying out loud, how long is it going to take? We got to wake up these idiots that they're going to, if China invaded us tomorrow, 50% of the people are going to go, hey, we're with you, China. Yeah, we didn't like Trump either, so you guys can come in and run the country. All the mask wearers, they're going to they don't care who they follow. They just want a football game on the weekend. They want to drink Bud Light. They want to send their kids to school and just imagine that they're being educated. No input. They're the drones, man. They're the the slaves that they're going to do they're going to just totally self-absorbed, can't put themselves in other people's shoes. And what are we going to do with them? What are we going to do with those people? One of the states, we're going to have to make a sanctuary state for them where, they can have their rainbow people there and they can just all be happy and have their safe spaces. We can give each one of them a cardboard box where they can sit in, and nobody's allowed to disturb you if you're in your cardboard box or something. Because we're going to have to figure out what to do with these people, man. Because they are most of the problem of why we are where we are right now. So Victoria Sparks spoke out on that during the hearings with Garland in it. And let's see. Dumbledore. Okay, so, and then Matt, another great phone call from Matt. They talked about other things also. I'd just like to bring to everyone's attention that there was a phone call that I just thought was incredible last week. And that was from Isaac Thomas, man. That guy fired me up. I thought about that phone call every day up until now. Deb for Freedom made a short video of that phone call now, and if you haven't seen it or heard it in the first place, you got to listen to this phone call. This dude, Isaac, is centered in the Lord, centered in God, and knows what's going to happen. Says that, yes, all the J6ers are going through tribulations. Yes, people have died, but God is going to rain hellfire down on them eventually. And we know that to be true. We know that to be true. Isaac says he can spend the next 5, 10, 20 years in jail if he has to, because he's got God looking after him. And the power that he had in that phone call, man, I think everybody should hear it. And so Deb for Freedom made a video on it. It's only on YouTube right now. And go check that out. Deb for Freedom does all kinds of short clips out of the broadcasts from Freedom Corner that really help out a lot. They haven't been getting a lot of views, but I think it's a tool that might get used later, or I don't know, but they're great works that she's doing on these short clips from Freedom Corner. David did the roll call, and that roll call's getting long, folks. It's just, it bothers me every time I hear that roll call. Okay, and then Flick for Freedom was last night, where you flick the lights on and off when we sing the national anthem. Sing for Freedom is still a deal, a big deal. We're singing the national anthem every night at 9 o'clock. These guys have been doing it from the beginning. And gee, gosh, I just forgot what I was saying in the middle of a sentence. I saw Ridgeline's comment here, man. So this is the new senator in California that Newsom appointed. LaFonza. But she lives in Maryland? Okay, I just saw this lady's name today. And LaFonza. Okay, whatever. Now we got a Senator LaFonza. What's going on with that? I can't believe this stuff, man. It's like bizarro world, man. Bizarro world. Garrett Miller's out? That's good news, Angelina. All right. So now we got to, look after Garrett Miller. Hopefully he's got his family and that can be taking care of him. Butler believes in abortion. Yeah, no doubt. She's a democrat, Okay, then Jeff Sable called in for the anthem. He got Daniel Ball to come on and say hello. He recommended a book by Kash Patel called Government Gangsters, which goes into a lot of the details on J6. And I have heard many things from Kash Patel about J6. He is up on topic, on point with the J6 issues. And he is outraged at so far the committees that have happened already pertaining to J6. He has been very outspoken on the J6 committee that happened. He's very outspoken on a lot of topics. He was part of Trump's cabinet when Trump was in office. And he's very, very disappointed in the Republicans in not just strategizing their attacks on their political opponents and just not coming across coherent, looking like they can't fight their way out of a paper bag. And that's exactly what they look like. So let's hope that's changing now. Let's hope that's changing behind the scenes or something, that somehow or another Republicans grow a brain, realize MAGA is the future of the Republican Party, and I don't know. Let's remain hopeful. Then the phone started breaking up again while Jeff Sable was on and Daniel Ball. And then it sounded like we were going to lose him. And then right when they said, "Oh, say, can you see?" the phone cleared up. It was one of the best national anthems I ever heard out there. And it was a happy thing that all of a sudden the national anthem came through. And then after the national anthem, John Mellis got on the phone and brought our attention to this Ronald McABEE trial that's going on. And then ever since he said this, I've been like looking up Ronald McABEE stuff. Sarah is a warrior, just like Mickey, just like Nicole, just like Tammy. She has been on the tour giving talks to people who don't know about J6. She speaks very well. She has very well thought out talks when she gives them. And there's lots of good information out there from Sarah McABEE. She has worked with Mickey and Nicole many times. And at Ronald McABEE's case, all right, so here, let's do a little Ronald McABEE synopsis. Let's get back in touch with who Ronald McABEE is. All right, Ronald McABEE, his home was raided on August 17th, 2021. They were there for 5 hours, so it was your typical FBI home raid, and they took him off to jail. This was in Tennessee. He is a cop. He's been a law enforcement officer for 7 years prior to this in Tennessee and Georgia. So, hey, Tennessee, they just got one of your homeboys. Let's see some people from Tennessee standing up. I know we do already, but law enforcement, where are you? They just took one of your buddies right out from under your nose 2 years ago, 26 months ago. Where you been, man? Where you been, law enforcement? You just waiting for them to come for you next? Or are you guys just going to leave a man behind? Where's the cops standing up for this? Because there's a lot of law enforcement guys that are J6ers that were arrested for this because they take their constitutional rights serious, and they took an oath. So prior to that, he was a cop for 7 years. He got a commendation for saving somebody's life while he was a police officer. He went free from May to August before they actually arrested him. So he's not like a dangerous guy. But when he went to court to see if he could get released on bail, the prosecutor said, "Oh, no, this guy's so dangerous, you can't let him out of jail, man." All right, now I'm not aware of this. My name is Ronald McABEE appeared in federal court Monday morning to plead guilty to one federal count of assaulting an officer and one misdemeanor count of engaging in an act of violence. So originally he was charged with 4 felonies and 3 misdemeanors. So I don't know if my name is saying that he just did a plea deal today. I don't have that news right now, so I'm sorry. But anyways, he was looking at 4 felonies, 3 misdemeanors. The judge in Tennessee was like, "Let this guy out on bail." The prosecutors were like, "No way, he's so dangerous, we can't let him out." He has no criminal record prior to that. He's commendation for saving somebody's life prior to that. Been a law enforcement officer prior to that, but they kept him in jail anyways, okay? So there's a judge in Tennessee that, just looked at all that evidence and said, yeah, I guess he should stay in jail. I think half of the time these judges are just motivated by liability, or they're afraid of a headline that might appear in a newspaper someday, because I know that there's a personal protection order that, like, divorces always have this. Like, one person says, "Oh, that guy, he tried to attack me, so you gotta, I want a restraining order on that person." And the judge just pretty much rubber stamps that stuff because he doesn't know if somebody that a restraining order was filed for gets out, and he says, you don't need a restraining order on this guy, then they're afraid of the news that will happen if that person did do something. So that judge in Tennessee, just listened to him, kept him in jail. He's been in jail for 26 months up to this time. His trial got pushed back like 3 times, okay, which requires all these hearings, which requires all these attorneys, which requires all this money. So now by the time you actually get to your case, where you're going to have your trial finally, after they prolonged it 3 times, and you tried to change a venue, and you tried everything you could to do to that, you just spent your life savings on all that stuff, and now your trial's happening, and you don't got anything, you know? There is no big super fund where J6ers can go get money for lawyers. And there's a lot of shifty lawyers out there that took their money and didn't do jack for them. So this is how they operate. Nobody in Congress stood up and called out bullshit on any of this operation of the courts. And they are in charge of the D.C. court. And what they showed that judge in Tennessee was the beating death of Roseanne Boylan. Now, Ronald McABEE was the guy trying to resuscitate Roseanne Boylan, was the guy that was pulling people off the top of her while the cops were beating on him, okay? So he did turn around and shove a cop every once in a while, because here's a woman that he sees is dying on the ground at his feet with a whole heap of people over her, and he's trying to help her. He's trying to say, hey, stop beating us. This woman is dying. She's turning blue. And she did die. Roseanne Boylan died that day. So he wasn't wrong about that. But what they did was they showed the video, but didn't have the audio. They didn't have the sound on for this video. So that's really hard to tell what's going on when you're watching this chaotic commotion going on with cops beating on people. It looks like people are fighting back. You got people laying on the ground. And they said that there was technical difficulties why they couldn't play that audio for the judge to see the true evidence. But that audio, what you hear when you play that audio, and Gary McBride had that video, and there was audio to it. He could play it on his own. I don't know why the prosecutors couldn't do it. I think they could do it, and they purposely didn't do it because it didn't help their case. And it exonerates Ronald McABEE because he's saying, she's dying. I'm helping her. I know first aid. I'm helping her. Stop beating on her. And they continued to beat on her. Lila Morris was the cop, and she got a promotion afterwards. No accountability whatsoever. One dead patriot, no accountability. So I don't know. Also, his case is one of, he said there was 9 people that are being tried all at one time, like they did with the Oath Keepers, like they did with the Proud Boys. I don't know why this group of 9 was put together. Perhaps they were all the group that was busted from the tunnel event that happened where Roseanne Boylan died, because that whole thing was an operation by the cops to I think hurt people really bad. They allowed people to come into a tunnel, okay, and then all at one time they pushed them all out, which created a mass pile of people at the entrance of that tunnel, and they just kept pushing more people on top of it, and people were in peril. That's a dangerous scenario right there. And while they're all in a pile, they just start beating on them. So there you go. I don't know why the defense didn't bring up the fact that there was sound to that video. I don't know. You would think if you had a good defense attorney that he would also have that video with the sound and say, well, I got the sound. You're judge. You want to hear it? I don't know. So then Ronald McABEE was also a guy where on September 5th, 2022, last year, I remember this, the inmates were told, the medical cart was coming around. It was time for their medicine. This was still September 22, inside the jail. They still had the whole mask mandate thing going on. And they were just, abusing people with these mandates inside the jail. Outside the jail, nobody was wearing a mask anymore. But it took until past that date for the emergency order that Joe Biden put out to end. So they're coming out to get their medicines. He's got to take an oral medicine, and he didn't put his mask on. So this Lieutenant Lancaster was the warden, and she said, "Put your mask on." And he said no, walked right past her to get his oral medicine. How can you take a pill or whatever he had to put in his mouth with a mask on? So they had him beat. She deployed a thing of bear mace an inch away from his face. Right on the can of the mace, it says, "Do not deploy this mace within, 2 feet of somebody," because of the pressure that it comes out in. They stuck him in a hole for like 36 hours, let him finally get a shower 24 hours later or whatever. Total abuse. So that was Ronald McABEE. That's what I remembered when we found out about that. Lieutenant Lancaster was then relieved of her duties, and we're all happy about that. We think we had an influence there of pointing that out because we heard about what happened. We did a call to action for phone calls to be made, and she got fired. So, hallelujah. There is things that happen that are good. So yeah, they just and then one of the things that Sarah was talking about, how the court just keeps delaying these things. It costs you money every time you go to DC. You got to spend money to stay there. You got to have a lawyer. The lawyer's got to have a place to stay. And you're broke before you start your trial. Ronald McABEE was also and Sarah was part of a thing called Operation Love Wins and Stand in the Gap. Right, here we go. Thank you, Sylvia. We must be on the wavelength here. Stand in the Gap is a re-entry program and transportation, clothing, and meals for when you are trying to attend court things. And she started that up with Shane Jenkins and her husband Ronald. And it's an awesome program that's helped out quite a few patriots as they're getting out. I know Bart Shively got out a month and a half or 2 months ago, and there's a great group of patriots that live nearby that are helping him out. He is praising the Lord for it. He knows that God is in control and he's taking care of it. And then the other thing that they founded was called Operation Love Wins. Is another well, here it is. All right, Operation Love Wins, a J6 newsletter, and sign up with the real J6 merch. So that's another thing. These are activated patriots. Sarah McABEE is amazing. Shane Jenkins is amazing. Ronald McABEE, awesome patriots. God is showing us who our leaders should be. And what this tyrannical regime does is puts the people that should be our leaders into prison for years and years and years. That just shows everyone how tyrannical and corrupt they are. One of the things that these prisons do is that they don't feed you enough, all right? These are men, 250-pound men, and they're giving them like 1,200 calorie diets every day. So in order to survive, you got to supplement your diet with commissary food, which is like the stuff you can get at 7-Eleven. It's not good food, but man, you need more calories than they're giving you, especially if you're trying to work out and stay in shape while you're in there. So the jails make a lot of money off of that. They make a lot of money off the phone call system. Every phone call, every email, every time they're watching a movie or playing a video game on their tablets, they have to pay a certain amount of money. Jail makes tons of money off this. One of the instances that Sarah came up with, just to prove how outrageous this is the guys have to wear shoes with no laces. So there's a type of shoe that they need to wear in jail that is the kind that you can buy at Walmart for like 12 or 15 bucks. They're just kind of like slippers with a rubber sole on them. And she says that when you get them from commissary, those slippers cost $48.50, man. That's how corrupt these people are. When does it end? When does Congress step in and say enough? You're not allowed to do this anymore. Toilet paper, yeah, toothbrushes, soap. That's not provided for you when you go to jail. You have to get it off a commissary. And if you're broke, you don't have a family member to look after you while you're in there, you're just screwed. Or you get it from your other buddies in jail that will, hopefully hook you up with some soap because they want you to have soap, right? I don't know, man. It is corrupt. These are demons, man. And another thing that Sarah McABEE said was that prosecutors are just allowed to outright lie. They're allowed to just lie to people, just like police officers. Supreme Court case was like, police officers have no compulsion to tell the truth. They don't have to, they're not held to be telling the truth about everything that they say. So they lie all the time. We've all seen it. Prosecutors are the same way. That's in a courtroom, When you're testifying in court, you got to put your hand on the Bible and you got to say, so help me God, I'll tell the truth. Everything I say is truthful to the extent that I know it to be. Oh, God, dude. Come on, Willie. Come up with a better name, dude. That one's just too obvious. So the prosecutors are allowed to lie in court, This is supposed to be our temple of truth and justice, right? And lies are accepted. Lies are accepted in there. So we're really happy John Mellis got on there and brought us up to date on this Ronald McABEE trial. I hope it goes to trial and he didn't plea deal out, but we'll have to see. Hey, Deb for Freedom. Okay, yeah, J6 Vigils is having a Lewisburg vigil tonight. I think, Deb, you're a mod on that channel. They're going to have Bart Shively, a talk with Bart Shively, and a talk with Jeremy Brown down in Florida, the guy I told you about with the FBI raid on his house that they wanted him to be an undercover. Speaking in Florida, live streamed. I think that's what I watched today, silly. But it wasn't on that channel. It wasn't on Carrie's channel. It was on another channel, who also had a lot of other good stuff. I wish I wrote that one down. Anyways, part of our network, we got a lot of people. If you guys have a good source of information, feel free to put it in the chat, man. Because we need to complete this network that we got going. It's not just YouTubers. It's all kinds of patriots in action. And here's their channel. This is J6 Vigils. And they're the group out of Lewisburg. When there was a ton of guys in the Lewisburg Penitentiary, we were having vigils up there. And they moved all the guys back out of Lewisburg, except for James Grant, I believe. And so we didn't have a vigil out there for a while, but now Tina and Roy have picked up the torch, the baton, and they have ran with it, and they're having the Lewisburg Vigil is on again. They have a Patriot group they're working with out there. They're very close to Bart Shively, helping him out. And also Jeremy Brown calls in all the time in there because he is not in a Bureau of Prisons facility. So the BOP facilities are the ones that are shutting down the free speech. I mean, we have a lot of patriots that used to call us like every day. With DJ Rodriguez, he used to call every day. He would call the Lewisburg Vigil and the Freedom Corner Vigil and Robert Morse was awesome to listen to him talk. The dude is brilliant, and he has sources of information that are crucial. Book lists and stuff. So he's got a website that's out there, but they had to take all his videos of all his phone calls down because the BOP is claiming these are third-party calls. They used to allow it, now they don't. So shifty stuff, man, going on there. All right. All right, we got, Stand in the Gap will help out with getting you to land on your feet when you get out of jail, man. All right, Guy Foe, do you have a channel or what? How are you doing your work here? I mean, we need guys viewing all this stuff. And so far, we've all worked way more than a week, and we're all running low on funds too. So we're self-funded, and we don't have big fundraising things. We're basically just putting up links for J6ers commissary funds. We're not collecting a lot of money for ourselves here. So you're gonna have to fund yourself, man. I mean, nobody's gonna come in and pay you to do that. So if it's on your heart, if God puts it on your heart, and it should be, because it's our country. All right, Eric Scott, hello, Guy Phil. I have not heard of this guy, Deb. Sorry. And I know it takes money to do this, but it's hard to get funding for this. So that's where Patriots got to just step up and do it. I mean, that's what Gary McBride did. He had M5 News for a long time. Oh, it's on Twitter. See, I don't get on Twitter, so I'm not going to be able to see any of that stuff. But I hope you're doing good work, man. I hope you're doing good work, Eric. And I'm sure if there is good work that he's doing, that Patriots will stand up and make sure that he continues his work. Because that's how it works out, you know. All right, Deb. New videos. And that's what we need. I've always been saying if people would just skip a football game and watch J6 videos instead, they would kind of see that the whole thing was a setup. There was 2 million people there that day, but only, a couple hundred were troublemakers up by the Capitol. And then there was another couple hundred that were just victims of the scenario. They walked up to police lines that have already broken down and collapsed, and they didn't know they were walking into a secure area that had been breached. But they are being held accountable as if they themselves pushed through cops and broke a window and went into the Capitol, But really, there weren't that many that actually did violence that day. And there were no dead cops that day. So we weren't a violent group. We weren't trying to overthrow the government. The only people trying to overthrow the government were the ones that didn't want to take a look at that election. All right, there you are, buddy. God bless you, and Godspeed on your work, man. Because that's not my ball of wax. You got to have computer equipment. You got to have access to the videos and stuff. I know Mag Americans has got this, the Gadsden papers, which was some evidence that some of the J6ers early on put together, and it's looking like there is organized groups that were there at J6. Antifa had a big meeting in Alexandria the day before, and reports are that there was over 200 people at that meeting. there was no Antifa at the Trump rally for the first time in history. And they, of course, were there as Trump people. It's not too hard to figure out. The first time there isn't any Antifa around and there's mayhem because there's no Antifa around. No, they all had Trump hats on. Here's Mags' channel. He's got a good chat going on like twice a week after the vigil. And I think that's about it for the J6 end of things. In news, in the last 3 days, a couple things have happened. I think Dianne Feinstein died. That compromised senator from San Francisco with the Chinese handler, chauffeur that kept tabs on her while her husband. So while Dianne Feinstein is getting pro-China legislation done in our government, her husband's investing in Chinese businesses and making $200 million. Dianne Feinstein made $175,000 a year and died with a net worth over $200 million. So you do the math. How does that happen? And it's obvious, and why nobody has stood up and pointed that out. I heard this Chinese spy thing years and years ago, and she never fired the guy. She had a Chinese driver for a long time, man. Right? There is not enough hours in the day. Another thing of info that came out, I don't know that I reported on, was Christopher Worrell. He was a J6er that was convicted, but he was out on release awaiting sentencing. And when his sentencing day came up, he went missing. Well, he has been found and he is in custody now. And he probably shouldn't have done that, but he just watched all his buddies that were tried with him get, 10, 15, 14, 15 years in prison sentences, and he got freaked out and split. He went into hiding for a while, but they're going to find you eventually. So Christopher Worrell is in custody, and he will have a sentencing coming up here. And there was more Joe Biden news that came out. He was definitely making money as a foreign agent. He was definitely lobbying for foreign governments in our government when he was vice president, but he never registered as a foreign agent, of course, as you should do with the Foreign Agent Registration Act. So he's also guilty of that. So in the meantime, I guess we'll just have to watch Trump in court today, and that will just cover the news cycle, and we'll just forget Joe Biden even did anything wrong, man. And what else happened? We got some bad news, man. And Tony, the Patriot from the 1776 Restoration Movement, has passed away. He was with us on the lawn on the mall and the National Mall in Washington, D.C. when the 1776 Restoration Movement was happening last July and August. And he had to leave because he got very, very sick. But while we were there, Tony accepted Jesus as his personal Savior and actually was leading the morning prayer and morning meditation. And he was an amazing guy. He had he had some horrendous things happen to his life that I won't get into right now, but and I heard that Tony was doing good. He came on a chat not long ago and said he was feeling all right and stuff, and that's what I reported. But I just got news 2 days ago that Tony has passed away. And rest in peace, Tony. I'm honored to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with you in this fight for our country, man. And I'm honored that you stood up for it. You are 1 in 350 million, man, because there's 350 million people that are not standing up right now, which is outrageous. There's more than that not standing up right now. So God bless you, Tony. You are a fine patriot, and we will meet again one day, one fine day. We will meet again, Tony. God bless you and your family, man. Other news, the House did not pass a budget. They passed a 45-day extension, apparently. And this is all Greek to me. I don't know what they do behind them doors, but they didn't do their job. They passed a 45-day extension. I don't know. They'll probably go on vacation now. You know, that's usually what they do. I don't know. And apparently all the Ukrainian money that was supposed to go there will continue to go there. I don't believe that there was a halt put to the Ukrainian money and aid that we're giving them. I don't believe it's aid, America. It's not aid. It's a money laundering scheme that's been going on for a long time, and now it goes on in Ukraine. New York State had a state of emergency. That was another news cycle flood that they did. Literally, they flooded the streets of New York. It rained a lot, which it does all the time. And some reason, everything flooded this time. So I guess they can manipulate that now, too. You know, do they just go clog up a couple drains? And that's really all it takes to flood a city out. Okay, yeah, we got Matt Gaetz going after McCarthy right now. Matt Gaetz went after McCarthy before, but we ended up electing him as the majority leader in the House. So we'll see. Let's pray for Matt Gaetz. Mickey got on at the end of the night last night after the God Bless the USA song and everything, and said, let's pray for Matt Gaetz, man. And that's another thing that I'm really, we got to stop cutting up our own people, man. And it's hard when you got a guy like McCarthy in there. I mean, he says he's one of us, but these guys are rhinos or something. They are not fighting for us. They talk like they're going to fight for us. They promise us all kinds of things, and then they just never deliver on it. So let's pray for Matt Gaetz, because he is stepping forward as one of the next big leaders that are gonna represent us in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene looks good a couple times, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paulina Luna was one of the few representatives that actually came to the D.C. Gulag and looked at the horrid conditions that were going on in that prison, like we were telling everybody, but nobody would believe us until they went there, and then they called it out. And they had all the guys moved over to Lewisburg. They couldn't use the one half of the prison anymore. I mean, it was horrid conditions, and she brought attention to that. So she's on our team. Let's pray for her. Let's make sure she's got the information that we got. Because I don't know where they get their information. What's this, Sylvia? The U.S. Supreme Court rejects challenge to remove Donald Trump from the 2024 presidential ballot. What will they try next? This is America. This is America. You're allowed to have free speech. So I did see that Trump was in court today for the New York fraud thing, and I was trying to explain to somebody this week on there's no banks that want to charge Trump. He's a businessman. He estimates values of properties and estimates all kinds of stuff. This guy was like saying he lied about the square footage of one of his buildings, and I don't even know where that information came from, but I couldn't deny it. This is the information that he was basing his whole opinion on Donald Trump on, that he lied about the square footage in one of his buildings. But where's the outcry? All these banks are still wanting to work with Trump, so they obviously make money. He obviously pays the money back when things are happening. So I just, man, It's hard for me to understand these courts and our laws. It's just too complex. You got to hire an attorney to represent you. I don't like it at all. That's why I like having a relationship with God, because I can understand God's law. There's 10 laws. That's it. The 10 commandments. You go, if you want to take it real serious, you can read the Old Testament and read every single law that God ever created for the Israelites, his people. And there's only like 614 of them, I think. 613 or 14. And some of them applied to women, some of them applied to men. So there wasn't even 615 laws that you had to watch. But really, there's one law, and that's love your neighbor as yourself. And, the 10 Commandments, it's very, very simple. Very simple. And that's really all we got to worry about, because God says he'll take care of you as long as you follow and obey his laws. He just wants the best for you, and that's how the best for you can happen. All right, so we haven't been on for a while. You got a lot of good links today. Evidence the FBI planned the J6 operation and planted documents days earlier used against innocent Americans. Gateway Pundit article, okay. Gateway Pundit, another incredibly awesome source, writing about J6 from day one, organizing funding for the J6ers, for their families and stuff. They've raised a couple of $1 million have come in for J6ers due to the efforts of the Gateway Pundit. God bless them. And all right, we're over an hour now, so that means the vigil's going to be coming on here shortly, right? So there you have it, Patriots. Day 999. Tomorrow's 1,000. We're all going to wear black in mourning, and hopefully wake up another couple million people tomorrow that we'll see what's going on with our government here, how these tyrants are screwing us over day and night. Hi, Net Bud. All right, you take care of yourself. You got the flu. Tea and honey, hot lemon water with a little honey in it. That can help. We all know what remedies work. We're not just running to the doctor every time we get sick, but if it gets serious, yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. So I hope you're doing well in that. Yeah, metal is joy. Trump hires people to keep his accounts, and if anything's wrong, they're actually guilty. So I think he's not lying on paperwork. He has a guy fill the paperwork out. So it doesn't make sense that he lied about square footage. It doesn't. I don't hear any banks screaming about Donald Trump. They got ripped off by him. I do know he filed for bankruptcy on a couple of the endeavors that he did. But as far as buildings goes, he's not a fraud. He has frauded nobody. And it's just another instance of the weaponized justice system in America. There we go. Yeah, we got some amazing patriots in here. Yvonne, Sully, you, Bonnie, Sunkissed, Angelina. What a team we got in here, Patriots. I love it. Freedom Nurse, Metal is Joy, Carol Burton, and Birdie DeTweet. We got Cleo. What an amazing group you are. It is a blessing to have met and worked with and know each one of you. Karen Saffron, I haven't seen her in here, but she does a lot of stuff. Deb for Freedom. You guys are awesome. I guess we're in good hands if we got people like us on it. And God is in control of us. So we're not going to be out doing any kind of violence. This is peaceful. This is respectful. This is law and order. This is for the Constitution. This is for our country. We will die on our feet before we kneel before tyrants. And that's the battle today. That was the battle yesterday, and that is the battle tomorrow. So Patriots, let's get some food in our bellies before the vigil. Let's tune in to them. And we got the J6 Vigil in Lewisburg, and we got Freedom Corner tonight. And I will see you all back here tomorrow with another update and some news. And I will have a report on Ronald McABEE, if he plea bargained out today or if he had a trial. I'll try to get to the bottom of that. So in the meantime, Patriots, this is Jericho, over and out.